Dolores Gallardo. Today we're going to move on to our following session. I do not have a partner today, but it's okay. What we're going to do now is we're actually going to move on and begin with our warm-up. That first exercise we're going to do for our warm-up are called hip circles. So for a hip circle, what you want to do is you want to open your feet a little bit more than shoulder width apart. Just have your hands out. You're going to move your hips forward, to the left, to the right, and around. We're going to do that for 30 seconds, and then we're going to switch to the other side for another 30 seconds, so a whole minute in total. Beginning now. Making sure you're getting that full rotation as much as you can get. Making sure your hip flexors are opening, getting that full stretch in. Go ahead and switch. Doing good. Ten more seconds. Time. That is the end of that exercise. We're going to take a little breather and be back to move on to the second exercise. We're back. We're going to go ahead and move on to our next exercise. What these are called are actually called knee circles. So for a knee circle, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to put your feet slightly together. You're going to want to bend, leaving your hands just slightly above your knees. Your chest is straight up. You're just going to swing them around one way, coming up and then back down to the same position you started in. So we're going to do a minute of these. We're going to do 30 seconds one way and then 30 seconds the other way. Beginning now. Making sure that your posture is up, straight up. Keeping that posture going. Always coming down. To your starting point. Doing good. And go ahead and switch. Doing good. Maintaining that posture. Keep going. Doing good. And time. That is the end of that exercise. We're going to take a little breather and be back for the next one. We're back. We're going to move on to our next exercise. What we're going to be doing now is called the torso twist. So for a torso twist, what you're going to do is have your feet shoulder width apart. You want to have your hands up against your sides, and you're just going to twist from side to side. Side to side. We're going to go ahead and do that for 2 minutes, beginning now. Making sure your posture is up and it's correct, and that you're breathing in and exhaling. Making sure to get that full stretch, don't overstretch, just as far as you can go to where you feel it. Doing good. Good. Remember, we are doing this for 2 minutes. If you want to go ahead and do 1 minute and then take a breather and do your second set for the next minute, that's fine. We're going to go ahead and try to keep going through that whole first 2 minutes. Doing good. Halfway there. We're already 1 minute and 10 seconds in. Doing good. Keep pushing through. We're almost done. Almost done. Keep pushing through. Time. That is the end of our torso twist. We're going to take a little breather and move on to our next exercise. Hi, we're back. We're going to move on to our next exercise. These are called a PVC twist. So what you're going to do is you're going to go ahead, grab a stick. It could be like the end of a broomstick. It could be just anything that you can put up against your neck. You're going to put it above your shoulders. You're going to make sure that your hands come above as much as they can. And what you're going to do is stand shoulder width apart. And you're just going to turn. And to the other side. We're going to do this exercise for 2 minutes. If you want, you can break it up into 2 sets where it's 1 minute with a breather and then the next one for the other minute. Beginning now. Making sure you're getting that full stretch on your back. Make sure you're feeling it. Doing really good. Keep pushing through. We are halfway there. First minute done. Almost done. Keep pushing through. Doing good. We're almost done. We're almost done. And time. That is the end of our 2 minutes for our PVC twist. We're going to take a little breather and move on to our next exercise. We're back. We're going to move on to our next exercise. What we're going to be doing now are simple shoulder rolls. So what you're going to want to do is we're going to bring our shoulders around in a circle, making sure you're feeling it. Bringing them up towards your ears, to the front, and back down. We're going to do that for 2 minutes. Alternating going backwards every 30 seconds. Beginning now. Doing good. Keep pushing through. Remember, you can do this sitting down as well if you have to. Go ahead and switch. Going backwards now. Make sure we keep breathing. stretch, shake it off, and start going forward, rotating forward for another 30 seconds. Doing good. Doing good. Last time. Okay, go ahead, rotate backwards. Doing good. And time. That is the end of our shoulder rolls exercise. Gonna take a little breather, move on to our next exercise. We're back, we're gonna move on to our next exercise. What we're gonna be doing are called forward punches. So what you wanna do is get a stance that's just a little bit more than shoulder width apart. You wanna have like a tiny little bend on your knees, making sure your hands are up, placed against your chest or on your side. You're gonna wanna just punch forward. And again, and again. We're just gonna keep going. We're gonna do that for 2 minutes. If you want, you can go ahead, break it down to 2 sets, do 1 minute, take a breather, and then finish off your second set for the other minute. We're gonna begin now. Make sure to go at your own pace. Make sure you're breathing. Doing good. Keep going. Doing good. Halfway there, almost. Doing good. Keep pushing through. Five, four, three, two, time. That is the end of our forward punches. We're gonna take a little breather and begin circuit 1. Hi, we're back. We're gonna move on to our next exercise. What we're gonna be doing now are actually called tricep extensions. So what you're gonna wanna do is grab a chair, or you can do it standing up, whichever one of your choice. You're gonna have a water bottle. With the water bottle, what you're gonna wanna do is you're gonna wanna make sure that you do place the water bottle right behind your head. You're gonna wanna start making sure your arm is against your head at all times, making sure it's tight, and up, down, and up. We're gonna do 3 sets of these with 12 reps on each arm, beginning now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Good. We're going to shake that off. We're going to go ahead and switch it to our next arm. And begin. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Good, we're going to take a little breather and move on to our second set. We're back, we're going to move on to our second set of tricep extensions, beginning now. 1, 2, always making sure that our posture is straight up. Doing good. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Good. Now moving on to our other arm. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Good. Little breather and we'll be back for the third set. Okay, we're back. We're going to move on to our third set of tricep extensions. We're going to begin now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Remember to keep in mind that you do not want to fully lock your arm at any time. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Good. Go ahead, switching arms. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Good. That was the end of our tricep extensions exercise. That was actually the first exercise as well in our power and strength section. We're going to take a little breather and move on to our second exercise. We're back. We're going to go ahead and move on to our next power and strength exercise. But we're going to be doing our incline push-ups. So what you want to do for those is you want to grab an empty wall, or if you don't have an empty wall, what you can also do is go ahead, push your kitchen table against the wall and just use the kitchen table. You're going to want to make sure that you're leaning against the wall, that you're a good distance away, that your arms are shoulder width apart. You're going to go down and back up. Down and back up. We're going to do 3 sets of 12 reps each one. First rep, beginning now. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That is the end of our first set. We're going to take a little breather and be back for our second set. We're back. We're going to go ahead and move on to our second set of incline push-ups. Remember, it's reps of 12, beginning now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 11, 12. Good. That was the end of our second set. We're going to take a little breather and move on to our third set. We're going to move on to our third set, 12 reps, beginning now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, more strength exercises for circuit 1. We're going to take a little breather and move on to our third exercise. We're back. We're going to move on to our next exercise. What we're actually going to be doing are called reverse crunches. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to make sure you want to get on the ground on something soft very slowly and very carefully. You're going to go ahead and lay on your back. You're going to have your hands facing straight up. What you're going to want to make sure you're doing is that your stomach is sinking down, that you're squeezing your belly button down towards the ground. You want to make sure that your back is flat at all times. You don't want it to curve. You're going to have your hands up. So for a reverse crunch, what you're going to do is you're going to make sure that your feet come up and then they go back down. Up and then back down. Making sure that we're inhaling and exhaling at all times. Inhaling when we're coming down, exhaling as you're crunching. We're going to do 3 sets of 12 reps each one. Beginning now. That is the end of our first set. We're going to take a little breather and move on to our second set. Hi, we're back. We're going to move on to our second set of reverse crunches. Remember, it's reps of 12. Beginning now. That is the end of our second set. We're going to take a little breather and move on to our third set. We're back. We're going to move on to our third set of reverse crunches. Remember, 12 reps. Beginning now. That is the end of our third set, and that concludes our core and musculature exercise for this circuit. We're going to take a breather and move on to our next exercise. We're back. We're going to move on now to our balance and stability exercise. What we're actually going to be doing for that one is called a single leg side head knot. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to stand on one leg, picking one up slightly. You're going to be wanting to look to your right and then to your left. If you do need assistance, you can go ahead and grab the chair. As you're holding, you're looking slowly and then to the other side. We're going to do this for 3 sets, 30 seconds each, with 15 seconds on each leg. Beginning now. Making sure posture is up, always coming back to the center and then moving on to the next side. Doing good. Making sure we're squeezing everything. Go ahead and switch. Squeezing our core, pulling up our shoulders and our chest, making sure everything is straight. And time. That is the end of our first set. We're going to take a little breather and move on to our second set. We're back. We're going to go ahead and move on to our second set, beginning now. Doing good. Always coming back to center. Go ahead and switch. That is the end of our second set. We're going to take a little breather and be back for our third set. We're back. We're going to go ahead and move on to our third set, beginning now. Doing good. Keep pushing. Switch. And time. That is the end of our balance and stability section for our first circuit. Gonna take a breather and move right on. We're back. We're going to move on now to our speed and agility section. What we're going to be doing are actually called front and back scissor hops. So what you're going to be doing for that is you're going to want to stand in a straight line. What I went ahead and used was a line of tape to make myself a line. Once you're there, what you're going to do is you're going to just hop backwards and forwards, all the way down. We're going to do 3 sets of those for 15 seconds each one, beginning now. First set, we're going to take a little breather and move on to our second set. We're back. We're going to move on to our second set of forward and backward scissor hops, beginning now. Time. That is the end of our second set. We're going to take a little breather and move on to our third set. We're back. We're going to move on to our third set of backward and forward scissor hops, beginning now. And time. That is the end of our speed and agility exercise of this circuit. We're going to take a breather and we'll be right back to move on to our next exercise. We're back. We're going to be moving on to our cardiovascular and aerobic training exercises. What we're going to be doing for our first set is actually called, they're actually called uppercut punches. So for uppercut punches, what you're going to want to do is get a stance that is a little wider than shoulder width apart. Make sure you have a tiny bend in your knee just to give you that stability. You're going to want to have your hands, your arms and your hands against your sides, and you're just going to want to punch up and up, every arm rotating. We're going to do 3 sets of these for 1 minute and 40 seconds. Remember, do keep your own pace because you do want to complete the whole 1 minute and 40 seconds with the least amount of stops as possible. Beginning now. Make sure you're constantly breathing, inhaling and exhaling at all times during this exercise. Doing good. Keep pushing through. Keep pushing. We're halfway there. Almost done. We're almost done. That is the end of our first set. Gonna take a little breather and move on to our second one. We're back. We're gonna move on to our second set of uppercut punches, beginning now. Keep pushing through, you guys. Keep breathing. Almost done. And time. That is the end of our second set. We're going to take a little breather and move on to our third set. We're back. We're going to finish our third set of this cardiovascular section for the first circuit. 1 minute and 40 seconds, beginning now. Doing good. Keep pushing through. Almost done, you guys. We're halfway there. Keep pushing through. Almost done. Keep pushing. 3, 2, 1. That is the end of our third set. We're going to take a little breather and we'll be right back to move on to circuit 2. We're back. We're actually moving on now to circuit 2. What we're going to begin with in circuit 2 is our first power and strength exercise for this circuit. What we're going to be doing are actually called scapula retractions. So what you're going to want to do for that from the side view is you're going to want to put your water bottles up. It's your choice to use a water bottle or to just have free hands. You're going to make sure your feet are open, shoulder width apart. And you're just going to move your shoulders back and forward. Back and forward. Your head is going to remain straight, all your body posture straight. The only thing moving are your shoulders and your scapula going forward and backwards. We're going to do 3 sets of 10 reps. You can also choose to do these sitting down as long as that while you're sitting down, your posture is completely straight. I'll do this from the side view, 3 sets of 10, beginning now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, That's the end of our first set. We're gonna take a breather and I'll do the other ones on a chair just so you can see. We're back. We're actually gonna be moving on now to our second set. Remember, everything properly straight up, arms out, 10 reps beginning now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That is the end of our second set. We're going to take a little breather and move on to our third set. We're back. We're going to move on to our third set, beginning now. That is the end of our scapular retractions. We're going to take a little breather and we'll be back to move on to our next exercise. We're back. We're going to move on to our next power and strength exercise. What we're going to be doing is actually called an explosive wall push. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to have your palms facing outward. You're going to want to push your arms a little bit out. We don't want them right here. We want them out. What you're going to want to do, you're going to want to let yourself fall against the wall and push off. We're going to do 3 sets of these for 20 reps. Remember, get as close as you need to the wall. Okay? 3 sets, beginning now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That is the end of our first set. We're going to take a breather and move on to our second set. We're back. We're going to go ahead and move on to our second set. Remember, it's 10 reps, beginning now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That is the end of our second set. Gonna take a little breather and move on to our third set. We're back. We're gonna move on now to our third set of explosive wall push. Remember, 10 reps, beginning now. Six, halfway there, you guys. 7, 8, 9, 10. That is the end of our explosive wall push exercise. Gonna take a breather and move on to our next exercise. Guys, we're back. We're gonna move on to laying side crunches. So what you're gonna wanna do is you're gonna wanna lay down on your side with your arm in front of you at long ways. You're going to have your body straight. You're going to put your arm behind your head and you're going to bring your leg up to your knee. So elbow to knee, just like so. We're going to do 3 sets of 10 reps on each leg. Beginning now. Exhaling as you're crunching. Also making sure that as you're bringing your leg up to your elbow that you're squeezing your core. Go ahead and switch sides once you've completed the 10. Squeezing that core. Doing good. Good. That is the end of our first set. We're going to take a breather and move on to our second set. We're back. We're going to go ahead and move on to our second set, beginning now. Go ahead and switch sides once you've completed your first 10. And 10. That is the end of our second set. We're going to take a little breather and move on to our third set. Now, good. Good. That was the end of our core musculature exercise. We're going to take a little breather and move on to our next set. Our next exercise, I'm sorry. We're back. We're going to move on now to our balance and stability exercise. What we're going to be doing are actually called hip hinges. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to make sure that your feet are only slightly shoulder width apart. You're going to want to have a slight bend on your knees. You're going to want to bring your back down but straight with your butt barely moving. The only thing that's going to move now is just your back straight down and holding it and back up. If you do need assistance going down, you can go ahead and hold on to your chair as you're going down so that you can feel the motion, just making sure that your back and everything is straight as you're going down. We're going to do 3 sets of those with 10 reps on each one. Our first rep beginning now. That's the end of our first set. We're going to take a little breather and move on to our second set. We're back. We're going to move on to our second set of hip hinges. Remember, it's 10 or 8 to 10 reps, depending on what you can do. Beginning now. One more. Good. That's the end of our second set. We're going to take a little breather and move on to our third set. We're back. We're going to move on to our third set of hip hinges. Remember, 8 to 10 reps. Beginning now. 2 more. 10. That is the end of our balance and stability exercises for this circuit. We're going to take a little breather and move on to our next exercise. We're back. We're going to move on to our next exercise in the speed and agility section. What we're going to be doing are actually called running line taps. So for a running line tap, what you're going to want to do is, I still have my straight line on my tape. You're going to want to run 3 steps, tap. Run 3 steps, tap. Run 3 steps, tap. We're going to do 3 sets of those for 15 seconds each one. On your way, when you're turning back, you're going to switch so your opposite leg is the one touching the tap. It's tapping the line. Beginning now. And time. That is the end of our first set. We're going to take a little breather and move on to our second set. We're back. We're going to move on to our second set. Remember, it's 15 seconds. Beginning now. And time. That is the end of our second set. We're going to take a little breather and move on to our third set. Back, we're going to move on now to our third set. Remember, it's 15 seconds, beginning now. And time. That is the end of our speed and agility exercise for this circuit. We're going to take a little breather and move on to our next exercise. We're back. We're going to move on to our cardiovascular and aerobic training exercise section. So what we're going to be doing for this is actually called forward and upward punches. So what you're going to want to do is get a shoulder stand a little wider than shoulder width apart. You're going to want to have your hands up. You're going to jab forward and then jab up. Forward, up. But we're going to go forward, up, then alternate. Forward, up, then alternate. We're going to do that for 1 minute and 40 seconds, and we're going to do 3 sets of those. So make sure to keep a good pace for yourselves. We're going to begin now. Remember, slight bend in the knees. Make sure we're breathing. Gotta get it all through. 1 minute, 40 seconds. We could do it. Doing good. Keep pushing through. Halfway there, you guys. Keep pushing through. You can do it. Almost done. Time. That is the end of our first set. We're going to take a little breather and move on to our second set. We're back. We're going to move on to our second set, beginning now. Make sure you're breathing. Almost there, you guys. We're halfway done. Almost done. And time. That is the end of our second set. We're going to take a little breather, move on to our third set. We're going to go ahead and move on to our third set of forward and upward punches, beginning now. Almost done. Keep pushing through. We're almost finished. Time. That is the end of circuit 2. We're going to take a little breather, move on to circuit 3. We're back. We're going to be actually moving on now to circuit 3. So what we're going to be beginning with in circuit 3 is actually our first power and strength exercise for this circuit. What we're going to be doing are called white curls. So what a white curl is, if you're going to stand, it's going to be your feet shoulder width apart. You're going to have your water bottles with your palms facing outward. You're going to bring it up, never fully locking your arms, then bringing it back down. You can also do this sitting down if you need any assistance in that area. You're going to sit down. And it's going to be the exact same thing. You're just going to go down and up. We're going to do 3 sets of these, 10 reps each one. Beginning now. Two. 4. 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Good. That is the end of our first exercise, of our first set. We're going to take a little breather and be back for our second set. We're back. We're actually now going to move on to our second set of white curls. Reps of 10, beginning now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're halfway there, you guys. Keep pushing through. now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Good. That is the end of our wide curls. We're going to take a little breather and move on to our next exercise. We're back. We're actually going to move on now to our next power and strength exercise. What we're actually going to be doing are called tricep wall extensions. So for a tricep wall extension, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to put your hands up as far as you can. You're going to want to move your feet back, making sure you have a little bit of arch back there. You're going to make your elbows touch the wall, and then you're going to extend. And then back down to touch the wall, and then extend. We're going to do 3 sets of these with 10 reps on each one, beginning now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That is the end of our first set. Gonna take a breather and move on to our second set. We're back. We're gonna move on to our second set of tricep wall extensions. Beginning now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That is the end of our second set. We're going to take a little breather and then we're going to move on to our third set. We're back. We're going to move on to our third set. Remember, it's 10 reps. Beginning now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That is the end of our tricep wall extension exercise and the end of our power and strength exercises for today. We're going to take a breather and move on to our next exercise. We're back. We're going to move on now to our core musculature exercise. What we're going to be doing is actually called side bends. So what you're going to want to do for side bends is you're going to want to get 2 water bottles, which are optional. You don't have to use them. You're going to open your feet a little wider than shoulder width apart. You're going to have a slight bend on your knees. You're going to put your arms down to your side, and you're just going to reach to one side, back up, then reach to the opposite side and back up. We're going to do 3 sets of these with 12 reps, with going down one way and then the other counts as 1. Beginning now. Make sure you are squeezing your core as you are going down to the side for that tiny little crunch. Squeezing and breathing. Exhaling as you're going down and squeezing your core at the same time. Doing good. One more. That is the end of our first set. We're going to take a little breather and move on to our second set. We're back. We're going to move on to our second set of side bends, beginning now. 1, 2, 3, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That is the end of our second set. We're going to take a little breather and move on to our third set. We're back. We're going to move on to our third set of side bends, beginning now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That is the end of our core musculature exercise. Going to take a little breather and move on to our next exercise. We're back. We're going to move on now to our balance and stability section where we're going to be doing our called airplanes. So for an airplane, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to, if you need assistance, you can grab a chair. You're going to want to go down on one leg with your arms open. Then back up, and likewise with the other one. We're going to do 3 sets of these for 15 seconds, beginning now. Last one. Time. That is the end of our first set. If you want to go ahead and bump it up to 20 seconds, that's more than okay. We're going to take a breather and be back for our second set. We're back. We're going to move on to our second set, beginning now. Time. That is the end of our second set. We're going to take a little breather and move on to our third set. We're back. We're going to move on to our third set of airplanes beginning now. Time. That is the end of our balance and stability exercises for this session. We're going to take a little breather and be back for our next exercise. We're back. We're going to move on now to our cardiovascular and aerobic training section. What we're going to be doing now are called single punches with 2 double punches. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to get your feet a little wider than shoulder width apart. You're going to have that slight bend just for the stability. Arms up to your sides. You're going to go punch, 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 and then double punch twice. So 4 single punches and 2 double punches. Beginning, we're going to do 3 sets of those, for 1 minute and 40 seconds each one, beginning now. Remember, you want to remember to keep a decent pace because we are going to be doing this for 1 minute and 40 seconds, and we are going to be doing 3 sets of these. So you want to make sure to control your pace. Doing good. Doing good. Time. That is the end of our first set. Gonna take a breather, move on to our second set. We're back. We're gonna move on to our second set of single with double punches, beginning now. One, two, three, four. 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. Make sure you're keeping a good pace, making sure you're good and ready to keep going for 1 minute and 40 seconds. Doing good. Make sure we're breathing. Doing good. Doing good. We're almost done, you guys. Keep pushing through. One and two. Time. That is the end of our second set. We're going to take a breather, move on to our third set. We're back. We're going to move on to our third set, beginning now. Keep pushing through. Almost done, you guys. We're halfway there. Almost done. Keep pushing. Time. That is the end of our third set and the end of circuit 3. We'll be back for our cool down in just a few seconds. We're back. We're going to move on now to our next stretch. What you're going to want to do is either standing up or sitting down. It's totally up to you. You're going to want to grab one side of your hand. You're going to want to put it on the side of your neck, by your ear. You're just going to want to pull down slightly and then switch and pull down slightly. We're going to do that for a minute with 30 seconds on each side, beginning now. Make sure you're still breathing and you're only pulling as much as you need to. We don't want to over pull either. Go ahead and switch. overarm side reaches. So what you're going to want to do that is open your legs a little wider than shoulder width apart, of course. You're just going to want to reach over to the opposite side and vice versa. We're going to do that for 2 minutes, switching every 30 seconds. Beginning now. Doing good. Can add a little bounce to it, just to get that extra stretch. Go ahead and switch, shake it off, and other side. Doing good. Doing good. Go ahead and shake that off. And back to the other side and begin. Doing good. Go ahead and switch. Other side. Good. 15 more seconds. Okay, go ahead and shake it off. We'll be right back for the next exercise. We're back. We're going to begin now with seated torso twist. So what you're going to want to do with that is you're going to want to put your leg straight. You're going to want to put your right leg over your left knee like so. You're going to want to bring your left arm, put your elbow behind your knee, and you're going to want to push. We're going to do that on each side for 30 seconds for 2 whole minutes beginning now. Make sure you're only getting as much stretch as you need. Don't overstretch. We don't want to pull anything. Continue to keep breathing. Doing good. Doing good. And switch. Keep going. Doing good. Shake it off. Go ahead and switch. Doing good. Doing good, doing good. Go ahead and switch. Okay, go ahead and relax it and we'll be back for the next exercise. we're gonna go ahead and move on to our forearm stretch. What our forearm stretch is actually, you're gonna grab your palm, you're gonna make sure it's coming out, you're just gonna pull your fingers back, as so. And then again, we're gonna do that for 30 seconds, switching it every 15 seconds. Once we've done this 15 and this 15, we'll come here and then here. Beginning, now. And switch. Switch. Doing good. Go ahead and switch. And time. That is the end of that exercise. We're going to take a breather and move on to our next exercise. We're back. We're going to continue with an arm and shoulder stretch. Shoulder and arm stretch, I'm sorry. Beginning now. Right over left. Make sure you're using your opposite arm to grab on your shoulder, on your elbow, I'm sorry. We're going to switch right now in 30 seconds. Okay, shake it off. Go ahead and switch. Doing good. Keep breathing.